Hello, everybody. It's Mariner. Can you see me? I've had a terrible week. You can tell, can't you? This is what happens when you pick Aspilicueta and it doesn't start, right? You turn like this. I think I've aged, 1,000 years? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, welcome to Net Haul. I hope you're all right. Happy Halloween to you. Gabe is on his holidays, so there's no philosophy. Well, it's hardly surprising because I'm dressed as a werewolf. I wouldn't do it justice anyway. There's no alchemist either. But there's no matchups. But anyway, what we do have is we have a couple of guests this week, so I better bring these boys in. We have Surya from All About FPL, and we have FPL_Sonaldo, Andy, all the way from Seoul. How are you doing, my friends?
Yeah, I'm good, Chris. Finally glad to be back. I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks since I was last there on Net at Hall, and it's good to have Andy as well because Andy has been one of the nicest people on the community around, and it's good to have be here with both of you. So it's going to be a fun chat for the next 1.5 hours, at least we hope so.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for having me on.
No, you're welcome, my friend.
It's a pleasure.
All good?
And very, very happy to meet Surya, and I'm very excited to chat FPL with all the haulers out there today.
Well, we hear you a lot on Spaces, so we thought we'd better see your face rather than just listen to you. So first of all, sorry, how was your weekend?
I think from an FPL perspective, it was good. I captained Mo Salah and got my first 100-digit haul. So I think my season was a bit bad, but okay, it's looking to be pushing from now on. So it's finally climbing up. So 105 points. FPL-wise, it was good, but other than that, it was a disaster. So I'm not.
Yeah. Please explain why it was a disaster.
So I was a Man United fan watching the game with a couple of Liverpool and Man City fans, and also following cricket. So that pretty much sums up how bad it was, how miserable it was. Yeah,
it wasn't very. No, I mean, it was a. Yeah, how can we put this? I don't think it was a great Saturday for you, right?
Yeah, but then the saving grace was at least I didn't captain Havertz, so that's how I would summarize my.
Yeah. Who's that? Was that my ex-wife?
Yeah.
Oh dear, I'm getting terribly bad here. Anyway, right, let's crack on. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at fixture difficulty. We're going to look at the new Net Xg. We're going to have a look at some predictions, and we're going to have a look at the captaincy as well, but that's not going to take very long. We've got 6 questions in on MP4 as well, so I'm looking forward to it. So let's crack on. So first things first, let's put the slides up. So I can't see what I'm doing here. This is the problem. Right. let's put this one. What's happening? Right, okay. Anyway, so just for the podcasters, I am actually dressed as a werewolf tonight. Well, I've certainly got a werewolf mask on, so if you're wondering what's going on, then you'll probably explain why I'm all going wrong already. So before we crack on, just a few announcements. We're at 1,500 subs, so Nima's going to have to dress as Ali G on Monday for the Halloween Compass show. That'll be hilarious. We are 500 away from another donation to the Heart Fund. And don't forget to give this a like and a subscribe down there, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. And if you are listening to us on podcast, do give us a 5-star review on Apple. I think that's the only place where you can. Anyway, right. Also, what's this? Oh yeah, it's the mini league FG1XNB. Okay, it's still open. You can still join. Although I don't think we've got much chance of winning because I think the person who's leading it's 20 in the world. So I don't think I'll be winning Matt Whelan's book, FPL Obsessed, or a shirt from Shirt Loot Box, or equally a subscription from Fantasy Football Fix, but they're the prizes. Okay, guys, I'm going to lose the mask for a while because it's a bit bloody warm. And
the comments are going wild. They want you to take it off, Mariner.
Oh, man. I am going to put it back on again in a few minutes. Right, the engine room. So what we'll do, first things first, just to, it's a while since you guys have been on, of course, Surya, but Andy, what we're going to do for a start is we're going to actually look how we did last week with our predictions. So let's quickly rattle through them. Well, Mr. M, or Bamboo, or whatever else want to call him. What's the other word? Woodworkio is my new name for him. Well, he didn't hit the. I don't think did he hit the post this week because he didn't play for long. He went off at half-time. Did he actually have a chance this week? I didn't watch. I was too busy.
Yeah.
I was too busy watching the cricket.
He definitely could have scored this game.
Could he? All right, okay. I'll take your word for it. But he went off at half-time with his flags, so we failed with that one. And it's a bit of a common theme, flags this week, boys, isn't it? Because I've got more flags than the opening ceremony for the Olympics on my team. I don't know about you. Let's keep going. Predicted matchups: 2.5 points. 2.5 goals. Chelsea. Yes. Oh dear. I'm actually going to refrain from playing my witch for those poor devils who captain Havertz. I actually feel quite sorry. It was, I'm sure, the right call. Do you agree?
I think it was the right call. I think there isn't you shouldn't beat yourself for captaining Havertz because the points was there. I think it's unfortunate that he didn't haul.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was fairly obvious. I mean, there were 53% chance of 2.5 goals or more. The fact is, I think maybe Mason Mount scored all his points for the entire season. I'm not quite sure. In 1 week. Just a question on that, Andy. Do you think is Mount a decent option going forwards, or do you think it's a bit of point chasing?
I'm 50-50 on it. I think there's better options. I would go with Foden, honestly. So I think Mount is a safe pick, but I don't think he's going to haul like he did last week.
Yeah, I think it's steady, but he clearly wasn't this week. He wasn't this week, just gone, was he? Obviously, predicted clean sheet for Chelsea as well. Well, again, that was fairly obvious. 64% clean sheet. This destroyed me. As an Azpilicueta owner, as I say, that it caused me to just turn the TV off. I actually couldn't be bothered. I cleared off, and I went into bedroom and watched the cricket. I couldn't watch the game. I was that angry. But we got Reece James right, but Tuchel tennis incoming, boys. In 10 words, tell me who is the best option to bring in for Chelsea. I have Azpilicueta. I think I saw him hobbling down some steps on Twitter yesterday.
I think the best option is Chilwell because he's been really good. I think Alonso's been playing midweeks. I think it's a far indicator that Chilwell has nailed that left back spot for himself. So I think even I would prefer him over Rudiger. Basically, Rudiger was supposed to be the nailed-down option, but he's not that exciting. I don't see Chilwell losing his spot for some time. So I think if you have to replace Aspi, I think it's better be it for Ben Chilwell.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Azpilicueta, apparently I've got to do a werewolf howl. Oh my God. Right. Anyway, next question. Manchester City clean sheet. Well, thank you very much, Edison. That's another reason to ruin my weekend, boys. I had double.
Same here.
Double City. Andy, can I justify 2 City defenders? Is this double up dead?
Yeah, I think it's dead actually, and I'll give you a very interesting perspective. What you're seeing right now is this fake false 9 with Foden, and usually Foden plays. In a typical false 9, you have runners behind Foden, but Foden's playing highest up the pitch, and what you're actually seeing is the 2 wingbacks in Cancelo and, for example, Walker. Go fill the center spots up, and then the midfielders go wide and kind of help Foden out. So I actually think it's a more viable option to go with 2 City midfielders and 1 defender. So I was mentioning the theory of abundance, and because City gets so many goals, 3, 4, 5 goals, I think it's really good to double up on the City attacking assets and just hope that your 2 assets will get the goals and assists.
The theory of abundance, Surya. What about Pep Roulette? Dare we go for double City attack?
I think the same case for Chelsea and Man City. I think we are better off having 2 defenders and probably an attacker, because 2 attackers is pretty much too much to gauge the rotation of both Chelsea and Man City. And I think Foden is good, but I think Foden is nailed. But one more attacker, including Foden, I think it's too much, I would say, because the comments from Pep on Foden was very, very interesting. He said he can play anywhere on the pitch, and he's very much integral to to his style of play. So I think Foden should be good, but do you really want a Jack Grealish or someone like KDB or hogging your other spot, wherein you can have someone like Son or maybe someone like Son, or there are quite a few other options as well. So I don't think a double City attack is needed as it stands. The same holds for Chelsea as well. Like once Lukaku's back, I think the likes of Mount and Howard should their output should reduce. And when you have a defender like Chilwell or James who can give you attacking returns like a midfielder, you don't have to worry about a midfielder. Yeah.
There's been some really interesting stuff being said this week, various places. One of the things which stuck in my head was maybe we shouldn't worry too much about rotation because we can spread the money and have a strong bench. Maybe we need to think slightly differently this season. I'll come back to that later on because obviously, I dare say there'll be questions about. Well, I know there's certainly one question about Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. So we'll bring those back. Let's quickly move on, guys, and let's look at this week. And as always, we like to look at the fixture difficulty. And just to let you haulers know, just before I came on air, I recorded a VOD explaining all about fixture difficulty. So it will be posted the next day or two. Similar sort of content to what Gabe and I put out earlier in the week, or I think earlier today, actually. But it's just me with about 25,000 takes, which I've got to edit. But anyway, so keep an eye out for that. This week, top 3 attack at home: City 1.1, Liverpool 1.2, Chelsea 2, bottom 3, Watford 5.3, Wolves 4.2, and Villa 4, and getting horribly worse according to our VAR, which is variance, not anything to do with toenail offsides. With respect to defence, top 3 City, improving even more at home. Brighton now turning a bit, hardly surprising. They just played City. And Chelsea are about the same. And the bottom 3 for defence at home. Watford a horrible 5.8. Norwich a 5.7 and getting better. So they must have been bad. And Newcastle 5.1. That's an interesting one for this week. They could suffer this week. Sorry, I'll come to you first. We're nearly 10 weeks in. Which sides have most impressed you with respect to attack and defence? Who's caught you out?
I think first, fairly enough, Chelsea and City out of the block because these are pretty obvious names. But Brighton, I think they did concede 4 goals, but then I really like the way they played because they gave City a run for their money in the second half, especially. They played really well. So Brighton attack, of course, that isn't much of an option, but I keep saying people asking for Raya replacements. I think Sanchez is still a very good option. I think if you have him, just have him, stick with him because he's most likely to keep clean sheets in when they're against decent oppositions. And if in case they play oppositions like Liverpool, Man City, I think he's more than capable enough to get save points. I think he got 4. He got 2 bonus last time, in spite of the fact that he conceded late. He conceded the 4th goal very late. So I think Brighton, pretty obvious. Brentford attack and as well as defense-wise, they've been really good. I think even now that Raya is injured, they're more of a system team, more of a system defense. So I think his absence would impact the attack more rather than the defense, I would say, because his distribution is very essential because Tony is the one who draws the centre backs towards him when the ball is aerially given to him, and Mbeumo makes the run. So I think Raya's impact will be more in terms of attack rather than defense. These two are the teams. West Ham seems to slightly turn in terms of defense. I think Ben Johnson's coming in, and I think that left side is slightly stabilizing for West Ham in terms of defense. But other than that, I think every other defense is leaking goals left, right, and center because you can't trust Wolves, you can't trust Everton, you can't trust pretty much Spurs. I think the rest of it defensive-wise is gone. Maybe I think I would let Andy do the attack part.
I was going to say, looking at this, you certainly can't trust Manchester United defence at home, can you? Minus 2.2. Just looking in there, going, is it 34 games? Was this 34 games without a clean? No, it can't be, is it?
Yeah, it's a very long period.
That's bad.
Andy, I'm going to bring you in on the away side of things. Let's have a look at this. So who's doing best away from them? Well, Liverpool have nearly broke the metric now. Mine 0.2. They can't get much better. And they're improving still attack-wise. West Ham next 2.2. So ridiculous. The Liverpool are, I think, bordering on setting new standards. I genuinely feel that. Chelsea 2.4 in third, and they're getting worse. And at the bottom, attack-wise, away, well, Norwich, then Arsenal.
Brighton.
I need to get my witch. I need to get my witch out for Arsenal. Hang on, here we go. Right, here comes the witch again. Right, there we go. Arsenal 4.5, much worse. Look, 2.5. Brighton 4.4, improving away from home, but they're still pretty poor. Defensively wise, boys, City 2.1, Brentford 2.4. Remember that number before Raya. Let's see what happens with that going forward. Chelsea 2.7 at the bottom, Burnley 4.8, Norwich and Southampton 4.8. Andy, Brentford have been mentioned. I know we're going to talk about Raya a little bit, but what's your general perspective on? I mean, Brentford 2.4. They've had an excellent start to the season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I'm very bullish on the Mbumo and Tony double up. I just read a stat on Twitter. I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but Brentford are top 5 in terms of big chances created and shots in the box in the last couple of game weeks. And with their fixtures starting this game week, I think I'm very bullish on them doing really well. So I'm excited to double up on them and see how.
I'm going to challenge you straight away. I've just moved back to the home fixture difficulty look. Look where Brentford are attack-wise at home. They're 5th, 2.6. Look at them away. They're about, 14?
Yeah, interesting.
4.1. So Brentford away, this is by no means as easy a fixture as I think people think it might be.
And the difficulty here is the fact that the variance is only including this season and not last season, right? To be correct.
No, the variance takes it for Brentford, yes.
Yeah.
But bear in mind what we did with Brentford. We had to make a best guess where they started, and they smashed it out the park.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of the other two teams actually were pretty close to where we predicted them. Interestingly enough. Who else can we just home in on here? Wolves improving quite a lot.
West Ham as well. Everton.
Obviously, West Ham away not so great now. They've balanced out. But I would say Wolves away from home particularly look pretty good attack-wise. So that's where we are with fixture difficulty. Let's quickly move on. Let's look at the long-range fixture difficulty by matchups now. So what we're doing again, it'll all be in the VOD to explain it for you guys. But basically, when we compare attack against defence, and then we look at the next 3 game weeks, who's at the top? Well, Liverpool. Surprise, surprise, 2.6 positive. That suggests they will score 2.5 goals or more in all of the next fixtures.
Permacaps law.
Totally. Chelsea second at 2, City 1.9, and then Southampton at 1.3. That's an interesting one. Defensively, Brentford high 1.8, City 1.4, and Chelsea 0.9. Southampton. Interesting that they have a pretty good average matchup coming up for the next 3 weeks, but then it turns. So
I think next 3 look very good. Yeah, next 3 looks very good for someone like Broja. I think, and Livramento too. I think you can, if you have him, just start him for the next 3 weeks. But then it turns pretty badly after that. So I think short term it's a good move to have both of them, I would say.
What to do with Armstrong? Who's got Armstrong? Hibbo's got Armstrong. What do we do with Armstrong?
I think it's a definite sell because I have spoken with a few Southampton fans and fan accounts as well. They're pretty sure that Raf is going for the informed player, and there is no way back for Armstrong until Broja fails to perform really well, and then that's when it's going to swap. So it's going to be Redmond and Broja up top for now, and Che Adams and Armstrong, one of them coming in as sub pretty early in the match. So it's again who plays best stays for long in the pitch as well. So I think it's if you hold, it's just it's too much to keep holding Armstrong because it's no use anyways. Yeah.
It's just, FPL, the gift that just keeps giving. People who wildcarded a couple of weeks ago, he looked an excellent option, didn't he? It's so annoying. Anyway, thanks.
I think a lot of big players went for him too. Yeah.
I know a lot of people who did go that way, I'm afraid. Zonal matchups. I'm going to come to you on this one, Andy, because I know you've got something you'd like to comment here. Let's first of all look down the left, and Manchester United have an extremely good matchup against Spurs, 5. Now, whether they're going to capitalise on that, are they going to come back swinging after, in complete embarrassment and shock after being destroyed last week, quite frankly? Who knows? I'll just mention the other two, and then I'll bring you back to the United game, Andy. Arsenal also pretty good down the left, and Chelsea 4 and 3.7. But Andy, tell me about this 5. It stood out to you straight away.
Yeah, I'll try my best to explain. Obviously there's external factors going on here, and the whole Ollie out situation. The spirit is down, and United are in disarray. So stats are stats, but I found this 5.0 and 3.7 on the right and left zonal matchup against Spurs to be very, very interesting. And Nuno Ball is a very interesting defensive system where he doesn't allow Son and Lucas to go down the flanks and help Reguilon and Royale. Instead, what you'll see is Son and Lucas will go central and crowd the middle area. And so what he's doing is protecting, or he's countering the counter. So Son on the defense, they're not helping the wing backs, but they're actually just crowding the midfield. So this was very apparent in like the very first game against City, where they just completely clustered that middle area, and so City couldn't get through that middle in the very first game. So I see this as an opportunity for the wingers for Man United to get some goals against Spurs. And as soon as I saw that stat, I was like, oh, wow, it's correlated in some ways.
Yeah, so they're expected to have 5 chances per 90 coming from that left side. That's what that number means. Okay, thanks. That's an interesting point, that. Centre, in the centre, well, stop the press, Surya. Liverpool, 4.6. Then Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United, 4.2. Arsenal away at Leicester. We're going to come on to this in a few minutes, but there are murmurings of Aubameyang coming back into people's thoughts.
Sure.
4.2 in game week 10 and 4.2 average between 10 and 15. Not such a bad shout, perhaps.
I think yes. In fact, he's finally playing like the old Aubameyang after being bad the whole time under Arteta, because he was wasted under the wings. He's definitely not the player on the wings for sure. I think Nima would agree as well. So I think he's back in playing centrally, and he's more of a confidence player. In fact, I really liked him. I wrote him in the differences as well this week. So I really expect big things out of Aubameyang, at least for 10. Because Leicester defense is not that great this season. They're nowhere in terms of going to keep a clean sheet. So it's going to be a high scoring one. This one definitely to me. And the 10 to 15 delta 2 actually is very surprising. 4.2 is a very good number. I think the highest on the list as well. So it's a tempting move because you have the likes of Vardy. Other than that, I think Ronaldo is dead. I think there is no Lukaku yet. So maybe if you're not convinced with Vardy, I think Aubameyang should do a decent option. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to come back to it because Arsenal away from home are a lot different to Arsenal at home. So I think, look, I'll throw you another curveball later on. But seeing as though Nima's in here and we've just mentioned Arsenal, so we're better of a bit of that just to brighten Nima's day up. Hope you're all right, my friend. Right, matchups for this week. Who's got the best matchup? City 3.1. Again, once you're in the twos and above, right? We're getting well into the realms of 2.5 goals or more. I'm trying to correlate what 2.5 goals or more actually is, or as a percentage based on the fixture difficulty. I hope to have some information soon. But we've got City 3.1, Chelsea 2.6, Southampton 2.3, and Liverpool 4th in 2.2, interestingly enough. Defensive-wise, City 2.5, Leicester 1.5, so there we go. All of a sudden, there's your theory blown straight out the water, Surya. But look, things can change, right? We know that Aubameyang is very much a confidence one. So once he starts, you know, you can never tell what's going to go. You know, and he missed that penalty. He could have had more. He could have had a lot more points, couldn't he? Yeah. And then defensively, here's one for you, Andy. And we're going to come back to this. But Burnley 1.4 and Brentford 1.3. Both have positive matchups.
Yeah,
that's going to be an interesting one. You mentioned, I think you've already mentioned Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Can you now see how perhaps home and away might be a situation, maybe something we need to consider for Brentford this week? I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I am looking at Tony myself for Vardy, if indeed he's not fit, but I don't know whether he is or not. So I think if anybody can let me know what's going on with the press conferences, I'd like to know, because I've not seen them. Okay, so that's that. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at the Net Xg, which is what Gabe has started to. He did his, we did his VOD yesterday, recorded and released it today. And what I've done is I have now put it into home and away, which took me some doing, believe me. My brain melted trying to do this one. So you've seen his announcement. So we're going to have a look at it. But just to give you the how can I put it? Just to give you the idea of how it works. So similar to the other matchups, Net XG considers XG plus expected goals on target or post-shot XG against the corresponding defence of expected goals conceded and expected goals on target. And then finally, it takes into account the effect of the goalkeeper. So how does that do? And what we've found, I think, again, I've not got the statistics in front of me now, and I should remember it, but it's clearly a lot closer to the actual outcome of the game, which means that if we are using XG as a predictor or any form of fixture difficulty, it's going to mean that we're a bit closer to the mark. We're not going to get perhaps this wide divergence, perhaps, between XG and the actual results. So let's look at this. Manchester City at home, Net XG of 2.83. So that's very strong, and that is much stronger than when you take away, than when you just look at it overall. Big difference. Southampton 2.29 and Chelsea 2.11. Liverpool only 1.33. Does that concern us anything, Surya? In any way, Surya? I mean, look, Mo's in the form of his life. I don't think we can put too.
Yeah, I think I keep
too much on this, but I'm very interested to see that it likes the idea of Brighton. It does like the ideas of Brighton's defence, but we just know what just happened to Brighton's defence with a decent team, right?
Yeah, I think, I keep saying Brighton are a system team and the data will be always there. But then the first 10 minutes of that Man City game gave me shocks, actually, because Cancelo went nearly close to scoring and then they were trying to play it from the back against Man City. I was like, what are you even trying to do against the Pep team? So that's the case. So they will continue to do that, and they will continue to let a few goals against big oppositions. But that Spotter's philosophy, that's actually brave, because that's what got them back into the game in the second half. But I still feel 1.33 shouldn't hold you back against captaining Mo Salah or be concerned one bit about Liverpool's attack, to be honest, because I see it's back at home as well, and Salah needs that contract badly. So I think he's hungry for that new contract. I think he will keep smashing and putting pressure on the board as well. So that's one more way of putting things into fact. So I definitely see Liverpool scoring 3 at least, Chris. Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting concept, this, and we'll obviously have to see how it actually performs over a period of time. But let's look at the other end of the spectrum. You know, who doesn't it like this week? Well, it doesn't like Newcastle at all against Chelsea. It suggests 0.42, and it hates Crystal Palace against Manchester City at 0.37. We'll come on to the predictions in a minute, but you know, Andy, you're just. I said I was going to throw you a curveball.
Okay.
I always like to throw guests a curveball.
Okay.
How much do you use statistics in your gameplay?
Well, first of all, I do want to tell the comment section and the haulers here about how impressed I am with you, Mariner, because yesterday we had a short meeting about today, and you showed me your spreadsheets and how much work you put into formulating these statistics. So really good on you, Chris, and really want to give you a shout out for your hard work. I was very mind boggled yesterday looking at these stats, and you know, shout out to Gabe as well for the Net Xg. I think it could be a game changer. I do take into consideration stats quite a bit, but for me, a lot of it comes down to trying to hop on players at the right time with fixtures. So a lot of it is a balance between eye test stats and kind of attacking the right fixtures and looking ahead. So what I mean by that is I brought in Kane early, and I'm kind of regretting it. But you know, you just have to kind of stick through it, knowing that they're going to go through a very good run from 12 to 15. And I'm already thinking ahead of game week 15, where I'm going to want either Cristiano or someone like Rashford. So it's always good to try to plan ahead and try to use the stats to your advantage in the short run.
Well, if you look at that, if you're talking about wanting Manchester United players back, game week 14-15, you'll see a positive 1.7.
Exactly.
So, you know, from that side, the only thing is, though, is that the way I look at it is that for now, they're a big.
What's going on, Surya?
No, yeah, carry on, please. No.
That's all right. There's also something going on. No, it's I'm smashing things. I've just broke my microphone. Does it still work? All right. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, I'm just getting excited here. I need to put my werewolf mask back on. Perhaps might be more useful. Looking at the longer term, guys, I just want to just bring this in as well whilst we're talking about Net XG. Longer term, City are very good. It's hardly surprising. City 2.2, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 1.9, but Brentford 1.9, right, between 10 and 13. So there is a positive.
Love it.
And Mr. Woodworkio. And between 14 and 19, it stays the same. Liverpool, Chelsea, City, but United come back. So be interested to see how this develops. But in any case, I think what we'll do now, let's get into these fixtures themselves for this week. And I've asked you guys to do some predictions. So it'll be interesting to hear what you say. So make sure you do shout out your predictions for each one by the time I finish. So first things first, do you agree with me that Manchester City are going to score 2.5 goals or more? Let's go through the numbers. 51% chance, according to those in the know. I don't say that word, but you know what I mean. Matchup of 3.1. City are ranked first for attack at home, 1.1 against Palace. Defensively ranked 16th at 4.2. Both teams are fairly static with form over time. Chances spread really evenly, but the net XG is super high. Are we happy with 2.5 goals or more, boys?
I think that's a certainty.
It's just it's just who's going to score, isn't it?
Yeah. But Palace always try to score a free goal, I think. Yeah, I still keep reminded of that Townsend goal a couple of seasons back. I think
can I get a clean sheet? Sorry, can I have a clean sheet this week for my two City players?
No, I don't have one, so you don't get one.
Well, there is another problem, and that is that the two players I've got are Diaz and Cancelo, and of course Cancelo might be rested. You watch.
I think he starts.
It's nearly written in the bloody stars, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I think Raj right to point out that Bentancur, who's been pretty good over the last couple of weeks. I've been monitoring the stats. Has been good aerially as well. So maybe a Benteke goal could destroy your heart.
With all seriousness, Raj, if that happens, it's on Twitter now. If that happens, what am I going to do? Oh my God! Well, there we go. That's better. I don't know quite what I'll do if I lose that clean sheet and they both play.
Surya, can I ask you a question about this?
Yes.
If you're double up on City defense, would you start Livramento over one of them?
No.
No chance, right?
No chance, actually.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think. No, you have a City. You play Palace at home, so there's always a chance for both attacking and defensive returns. But how it goes needs to be seen. But yeah, I think too big of a gamble to leave. So if you don't start the double up against Palace, I don't think you'll double up. You'll start against most of them. So there's no point doubling up when you can't start against Palace.
I'm worried sick. I was who lulled me into a false sense of security with Azpilicueta last week? Harry, FPL tips. Don't worry, Chris, it'll be fine, Harry. For goodness sake, man, it killed me. Right, okay, next one. Oh, by the way, what were the scores? What did you predict?
Go ahead.
I'm not predicting anything. I've just said 2.5 goals or more. Come on.
Yeah, I said 4-1 to. I said 4-1 to City. Yeah.
4-1. My God.
I'm going to go 3-0.
No, I like you, Andy. You're all right. You'll do. Right, okay. We've got the clean sheet here, so we're saying about the clean sheet now anyway, but 58% chance of a clean sheet, according to those in the know. Yeah, Palace look like they're going to have a long afternoon, as we said, with a net XG of 0.37. Yeah, it's pretty low. I think that's fair enough. Right, okay, next game. Chelsea. I've predicted 2.5 goals or more. And 39% chance of it, apparently. The matchup's 2.7. Chelsea attack ranked 3rd, 2.4 versus Newcastle ranked 18th defence at home, 5.1. But both teams, look at that VAR, are red, which tells me that the form's not very good. So chances through the left and the centre for Chelsea against Newcastle, but a pretty high net XG of 2.11. So, Andy, what's your perspective here? What's your views on this game? How do you think you can see it coming out?
I think it's going to be another clean sheet. I think it's going to be, I don't think 2.5 plus, but maybe like a 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to have to answer Nima. Apparently, he's calling me out in the chat for complaining about Azpilicueta after I got disgusting points the week before on him. This is what Azpilicueta does to me, Nima. Look, it's caused me to. It's caused this. Look, it's even affected my beard.
Nima's going mad in the comment section right now.
He always does. He's always crazy. What do you reckon score-wise, guys?
2-0.
2-0. Sorry,
3-0. 3-0 to
2 and 3-0. Right. Okay. What do we reckon about the defensive matchup? Because I think we're probably going to cover this in a sense now. You're both backing Chelsea's defence, right? I'm going to give you a curveball here. Chelsea's ranked defence is 3rd, but their form is massively on the slide defensively. Away. Newcastle's best attack, 14th best attack at home, but Callum Wilson is back, right? Callum Wilson at home so far this season, 1.17 big chances per 90, 0.68 XG, 0.15 XA, played West Ham, Southampton, Tottenham. Could Callum Wilson troll us?
Absolutely not.
What do you reckon? Sorry, do you think no? You're still sticking with it, or am I managing to frighten you off?
I think it's going to be tough for him. In all sense that he's very much fundamental for Newcastle to click together as a unit. I think he's scored 75% of. He has a say in 75% of Newcastle's goals on if he's on the pitch. So I think he has a bigger say, but I don't think he's going to score against Chelsea. I think that's my gut at least. Yeah.
Mike, it's a werewolf, not a sea creature, for crying out loud. And don't anybody call it Net the Haul either. Well,
That'd be me.
No, yeah, it will. Yeah, I already bollocked you once. Right, Liverpool. Well, no shit, Sherlock. 2.5 goals, right? Ranked first at home, improving against Brighton away. But Brighton's away for defensive, not too bad. 3.3, but it's just Liverpool are so good. I think that's the reason why I'm pretty bullish of it, despite what we said about the Net Xg. I'll tell you what I want to talk about, boys. I want to talk about Liverpool's defence. Liverpool apparently have got a 55% chance of a clean sheet against Brighton. Now, I'm shocked at that because Liverpool only rank 11th on my defence fixture difficulty of 3.2. But look at that 1.8 there, that green minus 1.8.
Crazy.
That is the Van Dijk's thing. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. That's the Van Dijk. That's the Van Dijk factor, because obviously the matchup, the fixture difficulty takes into account 2020-21 season as well, and of course he wasn't playing then. So that minus 1.8 is very much to do with this season. So if you then look at it in real terms and you think, well, the matchup actually it's not great. But then if you realistically look at it, then you say, well, actually, it's a far better rank defensively for Liverpool if you consider more up-to-date sort of numbers. So that's the thing about fixture difficulty, guys. When you look at these things, you have to look at it in context, right? So there's recency bias with that number because there's not much data, but you could argue that Brighton's got a net XG of 0.93, so it suggests Brighton might get something. But I think they probably won't. What's your perspective, Surya? Scores-wise here?
I think it should be a 2-0 or 3-0 to Liverpool. Yeah, that's how I see this game going, because I don't see Brighton scoring away from home against Liverpool at Anfield. At the same time, I think they should hold their structure, Brighton at the back. So shouldn't be a very high scoring. They shouldn't let goals flow for free, but then it should be comfortable. At least Salah should at least get a goal. That should be the bare minimum. That's what I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see a monster. I'm not sure I see a monster haul from Salah this week, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he doesn't get more than one return.
Yeah.
So, crackers, all sorts. So now, Andy, you tired? Somebody's saying you're tired in the show.
Am I tired? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm wide awake. Okay,
did I get your scores? I can't remember. I'm still trying to cool down from wearing this damn mask.
Yeah, it's like every time you take off that mask, you're looking more tired and tired.
Yeah, well, I'm bloody boiling up. That's why. So, okay, did we get the scores, please? What did you?
I think I'm gonna go a little weird here and go 2-1 Liverpool, because Brighton has that kind of 20-30 minute cameo of just, good football. So I could see a goal coming for Brighton.
Sorry,
I think for me it's a 2-0 to Liverpool.
2-0, right? Yeah, you said 2-0. Look, I'm probably with you, Surya, but I'm going to go for 3-0. I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to go for the hauler of the week here, and that has to be Trent, right? I genuinely think if you don't own him, you might need a big sofa this week.
Would you ever consider captaining him?
Not this week.
Yeah.
Not with that number. I would for another number perhaps, but no, I wouldn't do it. No, not at the moment. I'd permit Salah's. It's just a waste of even a conversation, really. But on another week, on another time, yeah. I mean, I would consider captaining, but you'd have to be very confident of that clean sheet because Trent's numbers they're okay, but his XG is only 0.12 per 90 this year. His XA is 0.45, big chances per 90, 0.75, and he's involved in roughly 1 in 5 of all goals. So his numbers are all right, but I wouldn't say they're amazing, Surya. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it's not captain worthy at least, and considering how good Salah is at the moment, no. But then I think he's an absolutely must-own in FPL. I think apart from Salah, is the only other player I think we should nail on having, because he just showed what he's capable of against United. I think he's really good in terms of attack. He's going to get you those double-digit hauls pretty often. So those 9-10 points is going to keep flowing. Captain-wise, considering how good Salah is at the moment, I don't think so. But he's an essential in any livelihood. Yeah.
I think, the thing is when I wildcarded, I took Trent out because he was injured, but I had the money to bring him back in. So, again, brought him back in straight away, pretty much straight away a return. So, yeah, I think he's bordering essential, quite frankly. And I think particularly when you look at that fixture difficulty, which has surprised me about Liverpool, to be honest with you, with respect to defence, I think it gives me a lot more confidence going forwards, actually. All right. So anyway, the hauler of the week this week is going to be Trent. We've not done very well with that one so far. Predicted 2.5 goals. Now don't fall off your chairs, boys. But I've actually gone for a bit of a left field one here. I've gone for Southampton. I think it's about time. 2.5 goals or more. Our friends, those in the know, don't like it. 17%. But Watford's bottom for defence at home. And Southampton are 6th away in my fixture difficulty at 3.4. VAR's pretty statics. It's not changing much. Suggests Southampton get some chances down the middle. But I'll tell you why it's pricked my ears up. And Gabe's Net Xg, 2.29. Now, if that understates, as I expect it to understate at the moment, which is what my correlation is telling me so far, 2.29 could easily suggest 3 goals. So, what's your perspective? Is this, is Ranieri going to tighten things up? We'll have conceded 7 goals in 2 games, right?
I think, yeah. Go ahead, Andy.
Andy, first.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like your thinking here, and especially when we were at that slide with the Gabe's Net Xg from 10 to 13, we saw, I think the number is 1.7. So I think it's a really good time to own a Borja, for example. And I know a lot of people are really, strong on Armstrong. It's very unfortunate what happened. It was a good pick in Wildcard, I think 8. But I like that Borja pick right now. I just don't know how I can get there with Huang already in my team, but certainly I agree with you here.
Well, the gentleman at the bottom of this screen here, I'm looking at, I remember went for Christian Benteke last year. So what I want to know is, are you going for Broja, or whatever his flaming name is?
How do you pronounce it, by the way?
Is it Broja?
Broja,
is it
sorry.
Broja? Let's say Broja. Sorry, are you going for him?
No, actually, I have. I should
off
take
the list
Ronaldo out probably. Yeah, I think that's a foolish move. I would say. Because Antonio's fairly nailed. I think he's scoring often, and I have no idea of taking him out. Jimenez too. I think he has a good link up with Huang. I would hold him at least for this week. So I wouldn't have Roger this week, but then I really like what I've seen from him, as well as Southampton as a unit when he's playing. So I think I have seen Ranieri quite a lot over his time in Premier League. I think with Leicester, with Fulham, when he was back again, he's not known to be defensively tight. He's kind of more of an let-go manager. There are going to be a lot of pockets of spaces for Broja to capitalize on. I think it's a very good matchup this week at least. So, and he didn't play because he was ineligible in the midweek against this parent club. So I think if there was a striker option to be called on for this week, I think he's the one, in my opinion. Yeah.
Fair enough. Nice call. I like it. The last, what was your predictions then for this one, guys?
I think I'll look at my phone.
I had 1-0 Southampton.
Oh, heck.
I
had 2-2 Watford.
Always big talking up this player, and then you go 1-0.
Because I don't have him in my team.
Yeah, 1-0. I can't believe it. Right. Anyway, this is where I'm gonna have my fun. I reckon. As much as I said about Aubameyang earlier on, I had this hidden. I think this was in the slide deck which you saw. Look, I just benched Smith Rowe second on my bench this last week, and of course he didn't come off the bench. First did, second didn't. 13 points down the pan. He's still going to be second on my bench this week. Arsenal have 13% chance of 2.5 goals or more. Leicester have a 29% chance of a clean sheet, and I think that's maybe a little bit low by what I'm looking at, given the matchup there. So Leicester ranked 9th at 3.1, but Arsenal's attack is 19th at 4.5. Tellingly, look how red it is with respect to the VAR. They've pretty much gone off a cliff. If you look at the bottom there, and that explains it. Look, there's the information there. Arsenal 3.5 for the full season 2021. 3.6 towards the end, the last 6 games, and now 6. So their away from home record their away from home performance, I'm afraid, is not looking that good. And if you look at the matchup based on the recent stats, it's minus 3.1.
Wow, 6.
I'm going to go with a clean sheet, and I reckon I might be. I've got a funny feeling about this one. I've got a feeling in my water, Surya. You fancy goals? You think it's not good? You're going to go against me, aren't you? What's your score? What are you predicting?
I was actually no. From my perspective, I know it's very foolish to say players performing well against a particular team in the past will essentially lead to goals in the future. But Vardy loves playing Arsenal. He's always scored against them. He loves playing against Arsenal. So that's one factor I feel that's goals. And of course the data says otherwise. But Leicester don't look cohesive as a defensive unit this season. There's been little space here and there. Even in the European games, they aren't anywhere near a clean sheet in most of the cases. So I still stick with my heart and say this is going to be a goal for both sides. It's not going to be a clean sheet either ways. Yeah.
You might be right, but that number, I can't resist it. I can't resist it with the number. That's the way I am really when I'm predicting things. Andy, Leicester, I'm just reading the chat. They've only kept 1 clean sheet all season. Am I being a bit hopeful here?
Yeah, I didn't see these stats before I made my prediction, and I'm going to stick to my prediction and go 3-1 Leicester.
Well, you never know.
I see goals in this game.
You never know. Well, look, Arsenal have not been doing particularly well defensively away from home, and it wouldn't be. Don't know. The issue is if Vardy's playing, then I would be very happy with 3-1 because I would expect.
Oh, this is all dependent on Vardy playing. Sorry,
if he's playing. You know what? I'm not so sure about that because I think Iñárritu and Daka
look good.
Okay.
Yeah.
They look okay, and they certainly offer something different, right? Is Iñárritu a viable alternative to Jamie Vardy, Surya?
At the moment, no, because at the moment it's definitely no. If it was, I think last season it was a different case. Iñárritu being the more fancier option than Vardy, but this season it has to be Vardy definitely because Rodgers has absolutely spoiled Iñárritu to a case wherein he starts him, he drops him, he doesn't play, he plays. He's more of an inconsistent pick, and that has a say on his performance as well. He's rusty a bit more than what he was last season. So if it was for me, it should be definitely Vardy. Yeah.
It's an interesting perspective because you know what? I'm really interested in him.
We never agree in terms.
No, we don't, do we? But this is why I enjoy you coming on the show because we quite often have some quite big debates. Look, for me, what's his price? 7 point? Is it? What is he? Is he 7.5 or?
Yeah,
it's quite expensive. Yeah.
So, but I just think potentially, if again, it's quite a nice little price if he is nailed.
7.
That's the thing. That's at 7, right? Nice price if he's nailed. Okay. Anyway, let's move on because I want to look at the last game on Match of the Day this week, which is Burnley against Brentford. It's going to be a 0-0 draw, boys. There we go. That's my prediction.
1-1.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Burnley are ranked 4th at home for defence, 2.7. Right. Brentford are ranked 2nd away from home for defence at 2.4. This is a prime example of a cancel out. And my notes say 0-0 draw, and now just at the bottom it says Raya. So could we be in a... Are we expecting a relatively low-scoring game? This strikes me again of... I mean, obviously, clearly Brentford are not a Norwich. They are going to create something. If our friend Mr. M is out, is that going to affect Tony Surya? Is that going to curtail his opportunities somewhat, or do you think it's going to benefit him?
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful stat that was posted. The chances created for by Tony in the case of Mbeumo being on the pitch and off the pitch, and there seems to be a clear difference in terms of his attacking output when Mbeumo is not on the pitch. So it slightly concerned me because I really wanted Tony in this week, and it slightly put me off, to be honest. And these stats still say me that it's going to be a 0-0, or probably someone sneaking a goal somewhere from a set piece like Burnley always used to do. But I also want to point out this factor of Maxwell Cornet, because he was absolutely eye-catching the other day against Southampton. He actually single-handedly helped them draw the game last week, and he was actually subbed off at 78. But he's an exciting factor because he plays a different brand of football compared to the rest of the Burnley 11. Yeah, it's not.
I was going to say compared to the rest of Burnley. I think that's.
Yeah, I just said rest of Burnley. Yeah, because he is he's vastly a very experienced player too. I actually have him on my sides as a differential because Burnley's fixtures too look really good going forward. So you never know. Sean Dyche could make them play like a different team altogether. So I'm going to closely watch how Cornet plays against an organized defense like Brentford and take a call on him. Yeah.
It'll be an interesting one to see how this comes out. But as I said, I think this could be very low scoring. I've just got that funny feeling. This suggests that there's two pretty strong defences there. Now, is Raya being missing? Is that going to cause... I mean, Gabe's been very vocal about the effects of Raya on the distribution of Raya for Brentford. You know, is that going to really hurt them? It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. You know, a bit tongue in cheek, but you know, I always go for the lowest scoring game of the week, and call it the match of the day, the last on match of the day. Andy, what's your perspective of this? Am I putting you off your Brentford sort of forays?
No, I think it's going to be a cagey game. I think it's going to be 1-1. And reading the comments, it looks like the Mbeumo news is coming out very, very soon. So possibly he'll be back for this game week. But I do agree with Surya here. I think they work in tandem, and you need one to be successful with the other in many ways. And I don't want to get into too much details, but I really like to study tactics a lot, and the way Brentford attacks, there's three defining ways, and all three of the ways in which they attack, it involves both Mbeumo and Tony. So I think him missing is going to be a big factor here, especially for Brentford. And I do agree with Raya too. Raya is very important in the build-up. He's an amazing player, so. I'm very interested to see how Brentford's defense is going to be affected in the next couple months.
I think it will be interesting to see how this one plays out. I mean, as I say, I would have been fairly confident of a Brentford clean sheet, I think, had Raya been playing. So I've gone for 0-0, but I might be wrong. But anyway, let's see. So you went for low scoring, did you? Did you go for
low scoring for me? 1-1.
1-1, 1-0. Right, okay.
1-1.
So maybe if you don't have Tony, do you need him this week, boys?
Yes. For me, yes.
Still need him, even with that matchup.
Yeah. I would disagree with Andy because the matchup and Raya missing, and of course Mbeumo being uncertain, has kind of put me off to need at the moment, because the distribution is not going to be there, that partnership is not going to be there. So I think I could survive, and with Burnley's number being really good, I think at least I can survive without Tony for a week. So that is what I feel. I think it's kind of put me off.
I agree. I agree. I think it's a smart move to hold off 1 week. The reason why I say this is because I'm thinking long term, and also it's like Aubameyang, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the Aubameyang where Tony's going to be the talisman. He's going to be on penalties. Everything's going to run through him. So when you're the main guy in a main team, no matter how many chances you create, randomness is always going to favor you. So I just think that Tony has always a chance to score more than one, two goals.
Don't get me wrong, I love him. I think he's a great pick, and he'll be in my certainly in my team next week. I'm just thinking, do I, like I say, Vardy? What's the point of moving Vardy out against when he's playing Arsenal, right? So no, I'll probably, if Vardy's going to be fit, then I'm probably going to stick with Vardy. I think I could just see me taking Vardy out and bring Tony in, and then Vardy goes and gets a couple against Arsenal. Just my luck. Anyway, so that's the matchups. So we finished the matchups for today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play Surya's advert, which is getting famous. It's famous, Surya, but so are you, because you won an award. Oh, well, you come third anyway, didn't you?
Crazy.
Tell us about it.
I don't like this kind of branding within here. I think it's been quite a journey, and I don't like taking all the limelight, because it's the work of so many people coming together and putting something. It's all for free. That's how we do it. It's we all like FPL. We all like to write. We all like to analyze, and none of any part of all what FPL is paid or not restricted. So it's just love for FPL that kept growing, and it's has gotten us an award. So it's quite a good thing. Yeah.
I'm so pleased for you, mate. You guys work so hard, and the website is absolutely amazing. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to say, what are you waiting for? And I'm going to play this advert, and I'm going to have a drink.
Are you craving more FPL content? Then look no further than allaboutfpl.com. Head over there for weekly articles from some of the top content creators on the planet. So what are you waiting for? Head over to allaboutfpl.com, the website for all your FPL needs.
There we go. What are you waiting for, Surya? Really pleased, and many congratulations to the entire team. We're proud of you. We are proud of you. Okay, right. It's time to look at the algo. How did we do last week? 102 points, boys. That's bad. 10 players. You couldn't even get 11 players out. It got 102 with 10 players. Of course, it had Salah as captain. It had Jota, it had Trent, it had Rudiger, it had Livramento, it had Hwang. It did all right. It did pretty well. And it's doing all right overall. We missed 1 week because I was away. In Germany, I'm afraid. But short of, I think, I'm just quickly looking down, I think there's only 1 week we've actually been below the average. So we're not doing too badly. It is a bit of a free hit side at the end of the day, so it's only a bit of fun. But it does at least point us in the right direction of who might be interesting assets this week. So who are the interesting assets for this week, and who has the algo gone with? So, believe it or not, Cancelo tops the algorithm. Shock horror. The reason he tops it is because of the fixture is just so good. You can see there with the fixture difficulty, 124.1 against Salah, 116.8. It's gone for a 3-5-2 this week, guys.
Nice.
It's gone for Pope in goal. It's gone for Cancelo, Trent, Livramento. Cross midfield, Salah, Grealish, Jota, Kovacic, and Ward-Prowse, if he's fit. Or he's not suspended now, is he? I think he's all right. And Jesus and Jesus and Antonio up front. And on the bench, Tarkowski, Pinnock, and Rodrigo. There we go. So that's what it's picked. What do you reckon? Any interesting little choices in there which could be worthy of a little punt, as we say?
I
have to be
really
very
like
careful about that word.
I really like that Kovacic pick, actually. Just based off the eye test, he was really, really good in that last game against Norwich. Again, granted, it was Norwich, but it seems like Kovacic is right up there with the points this year, right, Surya?
Yeah, I think he's the highest scoring Chelsea player, so that's it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like Kovacic.
One for the casuals, yeah.
I'll tell you who jumped out at me, and I was quite surprised he appeared, but Ward-Prowse. I was a bit surprised, not seeing anything of him.
The thing is, Southampton don't score that much for you to consider someone like Ward-Prowse. I think if you wanted, just go for Broja because he's the one who's more likely to score. But
I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go for him. I'm saying it's just an interesting option. The fact
it's an interesting option.
that he threw him out, right? Because I don't know who this thing's going to throw out. Quite frankly, it's quite interesting. But yeah, it really likes Cancelo. It really likes Jesus. It prefers Grealish. The only reason it prefers Grealish to Foden is because of Foden's rotation. That's it. Yeah. And then if you look at it, probably the other way around. I'm going to come on to the captaincy metric in a minute, and then you'll see how the captaincy metric, I think, just from memory, just flicks that. So we'll see how that changes. But the captaincy metric's going to be boring, of course, because I think we all know who's going to be the captain this week. But anyway, let's keep going. How are we doing with the captaincy metric? Well, we're recovering. We're not quite at the level of Surya's captaincy metric, though. I've got to catch it. I keep seeing these tweets saying you keep getting it right every week, Surya. But we're on the way.
That's always good connection. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's not that sophisticated as the Hall's metric, but then it does the job. Yeah.
I'll tell you what is interesting. Very interesting is look at the hauls there. The hauls for captaincy this year are insane, aren't they?
Yeah, I think everything is on. That's only one Salah that has in 10 to 20 range. Everything else has been above 20. If that was a haul, yeah. So that's
absolutely. Yeah. Absolute madness. But yeah, I mean, as I say, again, there we go. Mo Salah, just so clinical. But we're on 176 points now, averaging 19.6, and we've got 6 out of 9. So what's that? 66.66%. So anyway, so we're on the way. We've got to go a bit to get to 80%, but I'm confident we will. Who did the captaincy community?
Oh, Chris. I gotta point something out.
What?
FPL Banger's comment just now is gonna piss you off.
Well, that's all right. I'll read it in a minute.
Okay.
What's he said? Where is he? Banger. Love it. Fucking hell, yeah. God. What am I going to do with you, Siva? And that's it. I'm not answering your question. Okay. Captaincy poll. Salah, 85%, boys. Next. Surya, here's a little poll for you. What's Salah's EO going to be this week?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Salah?
Salah's EO. What do you reckon?
I am not going anyone else other than Salah.
No. What's his EO? What do you think his expected ownership will be?
I think it should be bare minimum 180 or 185 because he was 160 last week. That was against Man United. I think. The thing is, a lot of people will be pumped to triple captain him as well this week, so that's going to boost the EO further. So I wouldn't be surprised if it touches 200 too, because the highest it has seen is 214 for Kane in that double game week, where he would go injured in the first game. So I wouldn't doubt at all if he touches 190 or 185. So
no, we're gonna talk about. There's a question later on, I think, from Ryan. It's analysing FPL, and he talks about how to recover from a bad game week, and I think that might be a really interesting question when we're in the position captaining when Salah is just so highly owned. I think that'll be a very interesting discussion. We're going to have time as well because we're doing really well for time, actually. Here's the captaincy metric. I can't be bothered to play the music for it this week. Salah, well, what a surprise.
42%. Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Haul rate 42%, 5 hauls in the last 12, 10 cases of single returns in the last 12, 83% return ratio. Decent fixture, smashes everybody else out the park. Jesus second, 2 hauls, 58% returns. Better fixtures, poorer form. Distant third, and Mane third, the forgotten man. But he's got 9 returns in 12s, guys. But anyone who, I mean, quite honestly, sometimes I know it can be boring, but sometimes I like to not have to think about captaincy. And this is one of those weeks where I don't think you have to think about captaincy. What do you reckon?
See, there's absolutely no reason for you to go against Salah because he's more likely to haul, which is going to get you points. And if you don't do it, and it's going to be causing you massive problems because at 190% EO, it's like you don't own him at all because there's no point having him and not captaining him. And it's sometimes okay to go with the herd. You will have to have that herd mentality once in a while, and it's the classic case. I think you could do so much more outside of captaincy in FPL, and I think this is one of those weeks wherein you can do that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if people are interested in Manchester City, the order would be Jesus, De Bruyne, Foden, Grealish would be the order of what it's suggesting. Again, I think Jesus was rested, wasn't he, yesterday? I think he only came on late. So he's an interesting option, but I wouldn't captain him. But I don't think you need to captain these players. You just need to own them, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough because they are really less owned, and having them is in itself a very big differential. You don't have to
Absolutely. Right. Anyway, so we won't have to worry about the captaincy, but we can get straight through the captaincy because, quite frankly, it's boring. Really boring. So we're going to move on to the Hauler's Corner. We've got 6 questions this week, but the good thing is we're going to have a little bit of time to actually do them. Hopefully, we can hear them this week. Because last week. But anyway, I've checked the sound and it sounded fine earlier. So I just hope it sounds fine today. So the first one is from Mike Mahoney.
That Hall question of the week. Any Leeds assets to take a 1-week punt on against Norwich this week? Thinking possibly Rodrigo if Vardy's out.
There we go. Who wants this one? Andy.
Yeah. I like the Rodrigo pick, but I'm gonna go with a little bit more differential in Joe. I think his name is Gerhardt. Yeah. I know you're laughing. This is totally based on whether he starts or not, but I have a good gut feeling he's gonna start. And in that second half, I was watching that game because of Huang. He was amazing. Like I don't think people understand. Like this kid was on fire that second half, and he could have got a goal. He got that penalty. He's full of confidence, really fast. Just really attacking, and at 4.5. But again, how can you bring him into your team with long-term plans? He could be a good, third forward bench member. But regardless of, long-term plans, short-term plans, if you were to take a punt, I think he'd be a very interesting pick this week.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with Andy. I wrote him as well in the differential blog. I think the stats too says he came on and he had the most touches in the penalty box against last week when he played. That was after the fact that he played just 28 minutes. He's fast, he's direct. I really loved him from the bits that I saw that the other day. It's a bit, say maybe you own Broja. I think now there's news that Broja is out, probably ones who got him last week. If you have to take a 1-week punt and probably want someone like Son in the future in Gameweek 12, where you need to make some funds, I think it's a very, very good punt. And Bale's kind of manager who thinks if the player is ready, he starts them. I think maybe he may cheekily get a start, but as Andy said, I really, really liked him the other week.
Nice.
That's a decent shout. I think the only thing is how long is it going to be before Bamford's back? Because then he'll probably just rot then, probably on the bench and for a significant period of time, and then you're going to have to do some surgery to change it round, right?
Yeah, Chris, and to add to that, it's just really interesting the fact that they were able to turn it around in the second half. It just goes to show that sometimes simple football is all you need, and they're just missing that striker in Bamford right now. So Gerrard came in and filled in that spot really well.
They're really struggling with injuries this season, aren't they? They're not having the rub of the green. I've said this already. They remind me a little bit of Sheffield United, I'm afraid. I've seen similar. I saw this last year with Sheffield United. They didn't have any luck with injuries whatsoever. And of course, they had Binary Brewster, who's rubbish. But anyway, there we go.
I just counted seconds still when you make the statement.
Bring him up. You want to bring Binary Brewster back up. Well, just shout out to him. Right. Okay. FPL Swing next.
Hello everyone. Net Hall. FPL Swing here. Last week I captained Kai Havertz. Did not go well. And now I have Raya. He's injured for like 5 months. So what should I do now? I have Foster as my second keeper, but his fixtures after this game is terrible. So who should I bring in to replace Ryan? Thank you, everyone.
Well, there we go. So poor old Swang's not having much fun, not having much luck at the moment, is he? Raya replacements, guys. Please don't say Ramsdale.
No, I'm not going to make that statement. Don't worry.
Look, I'm going to answer this one. I think you're not going to spend an awful lot of money on a goalkeeper. The obvious choice now, taking Ramsdale out the equation, is you go back to Mr. 26262, which is Sanchez. What about you?
I think it's going to be Sanchez for me as well, because after Liverpool, they have a pretty decent run of fixtures. I think it's Newcastle, Villa, Leeds, West Ham, and then Southampton. I think it looks fairly decent. And I said this at the earlier of the show as well. If not for the clean sheet potential, it's going to get you some save points and bonuses there. And it's really not worthy to look beyond that, because there's Jose Sa, because they are all 5 million options, and the other 4.5 is Ramsdale. I don't even want to begin on that. So I think it's better.
Foster's not an option, is he? Foster's not an option. So no, I mean, I think you're looking at Sanchez. I mean, look, that makes my piss boil that I've took Sanchez out and went for Ramsdale, right? Absolutely, just destroy. What a stupid choice.
What a stupid choice on my side too.
Stupid. Anyway, there we go. Right. Okay. Next question. So we've got one of your friends, I think, Andy, but I'm actually also going to play another question straight after it.
So for us Ronaldo believers who still believe he is Il Comandante, is he still relevant? What's his deal? Are we waiting for United, or will he produce regardless? And also, when will Kevin De Bruyne be back? Guy has been a mystery this year. So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, so there's that question.
Hi guys, great to see you all on Net That Hall today. I've got a question for you. I've got a 12.5 million problem called Cristiano Ronaldo. Doesn't score, doesn't take pens, can't take a free kick, playing for probably the worst team on form right now. Help me. Do I go down to Broja, Huang, Jimenez? Do I go up to Aubameyang, Kane, Vardy? I honestly don't know. So I've got Tonio, I've got Tony, but I need a Ronaldo replacement. Help me out. Cheers, guys.
So anyway, let's start with the KDB question. I have to say, I had a little look at KDB as to whether I could work him in, and then I very quickly changed my mind. I think he's too expensive to, given the fact that you always look at who else is available in that team at different price points. You just look and you go, well, Foden's pretty obvious, and maybe even Jesus might be a reasonable option as well. What do you think of KDB? Is there any love for KDB in the room, or is he a pretty expensive? What's the word I'm looking for? Novelty.
Chris. So actually, that was my friend Kevin. He's my college roommate. So shout out.
There we go. Thank you. He never told me who he was. So anyway.
Yeah. He's one of my best friends in real life. So shout out Kevin. But Yeah, I actually want to direct this to Surya because I think that Foden is more essential to the team this year than KDB. But as a second viable Man City asset, what do you think about Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, I think I would like to answer this in two parts. KDB as an FPL asset, I think it's a no-show definitely because pretty much you save 40% of that in Foden, and Foden plays far ahead of him on the pitch. I think KDB, I don't know what happened really after that beautiful season. I think post-lockdown, it was really good. I think last 15 months has not been that great. First things first, yeah, I don't see that change for KDB for some time moving forward at least, because he needs games and he's not getting streak of games. He's being benched, he's being rotated. I think too much of pep roulette for him. I think I really like the concept of Bernardo Silva because, and if you are a player that spreads out the money and have a bench that could easily hold one of Foden or Bernardo Silva being benched, I think that's fair enough, a good idea, because anyways in that 5.5 to 7 million mark, you don't have that great of options. Mbeumo is not retained. Benrahma, I think he's dead and buried for a long time. I think, yeah, Mount, I don't know. It's just points chasing in my option. And I think, yeah.
You keep mentioning players. I'm going to wreck me set in a minute again. You know, I'm going to wreck me microphone in disgust. At Benrahma. Yeah. Anyway,
I still have him. I have so much
me
pain.
too. I can't get rid of him. I can't find a way to get rid of him. I wish I could get rid of Ramsdale as well. I've got a few players I'd like to get rid of. I just can't. Okay, so Bernardo Silva. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Look, let's very quickly cover Ronaldo because we've already given your friend one good answer. So let's give him a quick answer, but let's concentrate a little bit more on Siva's question. So he said he had Tony and Antonio, right? So he needs to replace Ronaldo. Who would you consider? Andy?
Actually, can Sura go first with the more conventional answer, and then I'm going to give a very differential answer. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to suggest Shiva to take Vardy, but then I don't think he'll do it wearing an Arsenal shirt.
No, I doubt it. No. That would have been hilarious. We should get him on the show and tell him Vardy. Yeah. But he might want to borrow this outfit if we go with Vardy. No, seriously, sorry. Any ideas? Any thoughts? He hasn't got. I think Jimenez still has some reasonable fixtures, but
sorry, I didn't get you. Who has?
Jimenez still has some reasonable fixtures coming forward, doesn't he? They're not terrible.
He's not terrible, but I'm not sold on Jimenez. No. I think you probably go Huang and save money probably to appear on midfield. I think the safest, most sensible option would be Vardy if he's of course fit. I think he's obviously fit. Kane, I'm not sure. He was off. Is off color too much last time in spite of playing Newcastle. I'm not convinced. That leaves you short. I think it's Vardy or bust. Yeah.
Come on then, Andy. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, this is because I have him in my team and I'm regretting the crap out of it. And it's Harry Kane. And I don't know what to do. I'm absolutely screwed because I was so convinced on this Spurs double up, and he was so bad this last game.
God.
And yesterday in the Carabao Cup, he was awful. Like half a step slow, just like no spirit, not in it, super like, just not convincing. And the reason I brought him in is because I wanted to save that premium striker slot so that I can easily move to Ronaldo in game week 15. So again, looking long term, but did not consider the amount of game weeks we have till game week 15. So I'm screwed.
I mean, look, I still think that Son's the best option for
sure.
He's cheaper. You're going to virtually perma captain Salah. So Son has to be your option.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I think I'm convinced that if this Man United game doesn't go to plan, I'm just going to downgrade Kane and go to Son.
Fair enough.
Instead of the double up.
I think that's quite reasonable. Okay, we've now got a question from FPL Teacher. I'll play it, but we're going to answer it really fast, lads, because I want to take some questions from the.
My name is FPL Teacher. And I would like to ask, in my 30 seconds, what would be your ideal team that has 3 Chelsea players, 3 Liverpool players, and 3 Man City players? If you've made it, do you like it, and would you roll with it for the next 4 weeks? Also, how would you distinguish whose content creators' advice you should follow versus what you should filter out for your own team?
Right. Well, the triple, as I wrote it down in my notes. I think the issue is, look, I've written down. I'll tell you what I've written down. You can see if you agree with me or disagree with me. I've gone Chilwell, Rudiger, and possibly Chalobah because he's cheap, and I think we might need a cheap option if we're trying to put 9 of these players in. Cancelo, Diaz, and Foden, and Mo, Jota, and Trent. Would you do anything different?
I think this should be, because probably Lukaku, if you bring in someone like Lukaku or Mount, I think that's going to put a massive hole in the budget. I think I think it looks good actually, because 7 of the 9 should be guaranteed to start in any game week. So it doesn't look bad at all, because these are the 3 most informed teams in the league. So it's actually not bad. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's 3 defenders, but I just thought, look, we're just with the rotation, you're going to get someone, right? And I think you probably need someone. I mean, look, I want to ask you the question about content creators. And obviously, we are content creators in a different manners, right? But, how do you use a content creator, Surya? How do you do you use them? How what's your thought process? Just literally 1 minute, please.
So basically, any content creator can make a player look good or bad. That's plain as simple as that. You can twist stats either way you want. You can sell a player or you can not sell a player. So at the end of the day, just taking the players, some amount of picks from the creators, and then doing your own research, your own feelings and how you feel about that particular player, that plays a major role before you hit that transfer button. So at the end of the day, creators are here to just point you out at a particular trend or a particular set of players, and it's all about down to your research. Yeah, that's how I put it.
Yeah. By the way, deliberate mistake. I think I've named 6 defenders in that team. But there you go. That's fine because it's a stupid. Let's put Mason Mount instead. Sweng's just put me right. That's it. I'm wearing my mask now. I'll just add one thing, and I'll tell you what I would suggest people do. Make your own mind up, and then go to the content creator who you trust the most, or the 2 or 3 content creators that you trust the most, and then see if they rubber stamp what you've said, what you've thought. Start your own process. Don't. And then, even if you don't agree with them, if you're convinced, you stick with your own plan. Play your own game is what I would say. I don't always agree with every content creator by a long way.
I think one more thing I like to point out is
that people don't agree with me, but that's fine because all we do is it's thought process, right? We're just going to try and see, we try and make. We don't. I try not to. I try not to manipulate something to fit a narrative. What I try to do is just give the numbers and let other people decide. That's what I try and do anyway. All right, last question.
Hey guys, it's Ryan from Analyzing FPL. I wanted to ask you, with how bad a lot of people got burnt last week, what are some advice and practices that people can put into their teams to rebound from such a tough game week? Or maybe they've had a series of bad game weeks with all the injuries and sicknesses and everything else that's come up, bad form. People are making really good decisions, but it's not playing out very well this year, it feels like, for many. So would love your guys' thoughts on kind of how people should proceed from here.
Do you want to start? I'll tell you what, can I come to Andy first? I'd like your perspective on this one. Just first of all.
I think it's a great question. And Ryan is a very, very nice guy on Twitter. And I think it relates to me this week, actually, because last week I had a very, very differential team. And on Saturday, I was sitting at 30K from starting at 100K. So I was really, really happy with this start. And I didn't captain Salah. And so when I did that, my rank dropped like crazy to like 150k. And I'm not saying this rank, but I'm just saying it to give perspective, because it was a day of heaven and then, you know, hell, right? Just emotional swing. And when you have a bad game week, the natural tendency is to try to make up that rank loss. But instead, what I'm thinking now is, okay, like I learned my lesson. I'm going to stick to Perma Salah captain and chip away little by little and trust in the differentials I have. You know, you cannot let football comes before FPL. It should always come before FPL. If you can somehow think that way, it'll allow you to enjoy the game. You should always try to think about why you started FPL. The reason I started FPL is because I wanted to beat my mini league and beat my college friends. You know, it's just the pure joy of beating 6 other guys that I want to beat every single week. So do not let this hang over you too much. Bad game weeks happen. It's a long marathon. Chip away one game week at a time, and at the end of the day, you cannot control the results. You can just control right decisions, and you're going to make bad decisions, learn from it, and don't be too aggressive with the next following week.
Fair. I think that's fair. Surya, I mean, my immediate perspective is don't force it.
Yep.
What would are you with me?
Yeah, definitely, because I have had a pretty rough start to the season as well, and when it is not going good, you shouldn't do anything more to aggravate that getting worse. So I just take my mind off FPL, because at the end of the day, you play it for fun. You play it for you share you have an account talking about FPL and all of that. It's just to be keeping it as a fun part, not something that you take it seriously and affect your thought process and affect your days and the week ahead. So I just switch off completely, to be honest, when I have a bad week, and then I just come back the next week, Friday or Saturday, into my team. Of course, I am not in a position to completely switch off at the moment, but then so I just don't look at my team at all for at least the next 5 days or 5.5 days. Just get back when you feel you're right, when you feel you have the same mental space to look into your FPL team, and I think that's a very, very good way of dealing it.
I think that's very fair. I think anything like that, I think, is the best way. I mean, you could do other things. You could wear stupid masks and just play stupid sounds and things like that, which is what actually I tend to do. Because I when things go wrong, I try to laugh. Sometimes it's hard, you know. But my perspective is, I had a long chat. I think Andy was on the same spaces as me in the week, and someone was asking me, you know, I don't want to captain Salah. I went, look, mate, with the greatest respect, if you don't now, you know, with the ownership that he's at and the way it's going to be, you know, the simplest thing to do, rather than try and force it, is probably go with the Salah captain. And as Andy said, then chip away at the differentials around the side, who to then give you those ranks. You know, I think the example they gave was Chris Wood. You know, Chris Wood at the end of last season, you only need own him to get a big differential. Benteke, we only need own him, right?
Yeah, correct. I owned it.
You only needed to own him to get the points, you know. So yeah, that's what I would say anyway. So okay, so that's the haulers question, and I think we had a few more. So I'm sorry if we haven't got to you this week, but you've got to get in quick because it's getting popular. So yeah, thank you very much. Guys, can you quickly have a look through the chat for questions? I'm just going to shout out a few hellos, and I can't go too far back. So if I don't shout you, I'm sorry. We've got Ramanthan in, we've got Rich P, we've got Dread, we've got Mike Halpin, Bluenix 99, Adib, FPL Rubber Ducky, Squeak Squeak, is it, or is it Quack Quack these days? I'm not quite sure. Nima's in, hello Nima, FPL Swang, obviously we've seen there's Siver in as well, FPL Masher, a lot of good friends of the show in tonight. Nihal's in as well. Oh, right. Who else have we got? I'm flying down this list.
Chris,
Sushi.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But when you pick a question or when one of the guys commenting, haulers, I have a very special something prepared for Net the Haul.
All right.
Today.
Okay. Well, we'll
today.
try it anyway. So let's try a question. I'm just going to shout out a couple more. We've got Sandcat. We've got who else? I'm just flying up. We've got Hordafi. I think that's his name. because he sent his name in to pronounce it. I hope I've pronounced it right, my friend. He sent us an audio clip because we couldn't work out how to pronounce his name. Anyway, yeah, who else have we got? No, I think that's about it. We've got 49 people on, so it's lovely to see you all. So Cypher993 as well. So anyway, guys, let's have a look at some questions. Have you seen any, Surya?
Sorry, you wanted the question. I think Foden or Chilwell, who's the priority transfer in this game week?
Who's that from? Did you see?
Banger. Yeah.
From Bangers. What is it, Foden or Chilwell?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
I think it's Chilwell for me. Yeah.
Chilwell. Yeah, I mean, look, the situation I've got is, quite honestly, I've already moved one of my Chelsea assets out. Now, am I going to move Aspilicueta out and go to Chilwell? Am I going to go sideways?
I think if you have Alonso, then that the sideways makes sense. Otherwise, I don't think it makes sense. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Right, okay. Let me try and find some more questions then, and then we'll get you whatever your little. In fact, let's do it this way so that we can actually see what you're doing.
Okay,
So,
I actually have it ready for it's Banger's question, right?
This one, right? Okay,
Yeah,
go on then.
one.
You're answering the question, right? What have you? So first of all, just for the podcasters, what on earth do you have in Korea right now?
Okay, so I brought a fishing net, fishing rod, and I've got some fish ready. And
the magnetic ones?
Yeah. So here you go, Banger. And it says Foden 2 goals and 1 assist. So it looks like you're gonna have to get Foden in.
Yeah. Nice one, Andy.
I mean, oh man! Right, here's another one. Views on Rudiger to Chilwell, boys. Who wants to take that one? Sorry.
I think Rudiger starts, and I think it's a luxury move. I feel because I would still stick with Rudiger because you don't want to waste your transfer there. You might miss out on an attacking return, but then I would definitely roll and see what's going to come in the next week. So I wouldn't do it personally.
Have you got an answer for that one, Mr.
I'm looking hard right now.
You've got to have some answers. You can't.
I'm gonna go with Chilwell as well here.
Breuer's an ankle injury and is out, boys.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's confirmed out. That
balls that up then, doesn't it? Right. Okay. So that means Armstrong's going to play. All you Armstrong.
I do have an answer, Chris. I do have an answer. It's a purple fish.
Yeah, but you can't just. I mean, when you go fishing, right? Speaking as an ex-fisherman, you can't just dig through and. What's the answer? I can't read it from here. I've got my mask on.
The fish are very easy to pick.
We're all losing it. It's all going completely bloody mad. Right. Anyway, what else have we got? Any more questions? Yes, I did know 6 defenders. Yes. Right. Hang on.
Your green screen.
Can't see bugger shit. Can't see jack shit, honestly. Right, okay. Hang on, what's this? Mariner with the mask. Maybe the new cast member is a VIP in Squid Game. What on earth are you on about?
Did you watch Squid Games, Chris?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You're one of those guys. Huh?
It's like the way I would describe it. It's like FPL, isn't it? Red arrow, green arrow.
Yeah.
Here's another question. This is amazing, and that's not the wrong one. Here we go. Looking at your matchup for Southampton and Arsenal, would you play Livramento over Saka? Surya.
Livramento over Saka. I think I'll start Livramento over Saka. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the fish pick. It's the new. Never had a cat pick. We've got the fish pick. You'd play Sonaldo. You'd play Sonaldo. You'd play Livramento. Did you say?
I would play Livramento as well. Yeah.
Me too. 100%. I just think I think actually, are we missing the point here of just the value that player is, and also the ownership around your rankings at the moment. It destroys you. If he returns anything, he absolutely destroys you. Pavan, Kane Brownhill to Tony Yotta for a -4. We'll get Son next week for Havertz. Sorry? Kane and Brownhill to Tony and Yotta. Yotta?
I think I like Tony as a pick, but Jota, I'm not sure. Will he be benched? That's a risk for a hit, I would say. It doesn't look good. Something looks odd for me there. Andy, what's your thoughts?
No, I got the answer for this one.
Oh, right, okay. Come on, fish pick.
Here we go.
Oh, we can't see it. You need to tell us.
He's going to say Jota. Tony Hadrick.
Tony. Right, okay.
Okay, enough of that. Last one.
No, it's okay. Well, actually, Livermento apparently got him FPL banger is basically Luke Shaw if he was good. Oh, my goodness. Here's another question from Sankar here. Grealish or Mount / Havertz? Already have Foden. Wouldn't go Grealish if you already have Foden. Mount or Havertz? I think
Mount.
I think Havertz, you never know though. The people who own him, you're not going to sell him, are you? You're not going to sell him. You can't sell him, can you?
You cannot, yeah.
You can't sell him. It could be this week. It might not be, of course, but it could be. I would keep him. I think, but if I was bringing someone in, I don't know I'd bring Havertz in.
Yeah, Chris, the issue with Havertz is he takes up all the attention as that striker slot. So I prefer Mount.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, so I'm not sure if there's any more questions, but I think we're about done. So if that's the case, I think we're going to get out of here. Andy, I want to ask you a question. If we give you the captaincy choice, can you do the fish pick for
right
the
now?
next few weeks on a video? No, not for this week, for other weeks, because we've obviously, my wife's heavily pregnant. She would normally do the cat pick with Oliver the cat, who's somewhere around here right now. But the situation is, of course, is that she can't do it at the moment. And also, we got pinged with copyright a few weeks ago for the music, and I'm still angry about it. So we haven't done it since. So what we'll do, we might get if you guys like it in the chat, then we might well do this. I think we might get you an MP4 fish pick.
I also paid $10 for it, so I'd like to use it more than once.
Does that mean you want to come on the show? Does that mean you want to come on the show again?
I paid $10 for this episode.
That means you want to come on the show again, right?
Yeah, I got to come on again to get my money's value.
I will get contact out, yeah.
Raya to the backup goalkeeper. Would you do Raya to the backup goalkeeper if you had 2 free transfers? Well, I would certainly move. I would. If you've got Raya, if you haven't got another keeper, you need to make a keeper transfer, right?
I think 2 transfers. I think you can go for it.
Yeah. Daka or Iheanacho? Very quickly, boys.
Iheanacho.
Yeah. Okay. People like the fish pick, by the way. Let's do fish picks. Right. Fair enough. We've got fish picks coming on. Right, guys. I think that'll do. I think what we'll do is we'll knock it on the head right here. Surya, thank you so much for coming on. It's been too long, but it's always been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure you coming on again. You got bright yellow behind you. It's clearly not daytime in India right now.
It's a wall. It's a painting. Yeah. It's a paint.
You've not been on the show that long. You've painted the wall in the meantime. So anyway, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Andy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. We love your stuff on Spaces, just like we love Surya's all about FPL. So do find the enablers, not the, as I was rude to you the other week when I said it was the unablers. When you said you said net the Hall. So no, it's the enablers show, isn't it, on Twitter Spaces? Is there a particular time of day that you do, or a particular time that you do that, or is it just all the time?
I think some exciting things we have coming up. Again, I'm definitely not at the content creation level that you guys are. I'm just getting started, and I really just love it and enjoy, being able to speak FPL. But yeah, we're doing 2 types of shows every week. One just reviewing the future game week, and then one with some top managers. But we have a very cool opportunity to work with FF Scout and do spaces with them coming up. So watch out for that.
Cool. All right, that's great. We'll look forward to that anyway. All right then, gentlemen. What more to say? Thank you so much, everybody. So you'll find Andy at FPL_Sonaldo, right? Surya at All About FPL. I am FPL Mariner. We are Net That Haul. Please, if you haven't already liked this stream, and if you haven't subscribed to us as well, do so right now. And apart from that, we are going to get out of here and we are going to say good night, and we wish you green arrows this weekend. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.